It's a very good afternoon from a very windy Sydney Harbour, and the news is that there is no racing today for the 18-footers. A westerly flow passed over the state in the early hours of this morning and produced very vigorous westerlies right up and down the New South Wales coast. There's strong wind warnings out from up right on Byron down to Eden, and the 18-footers race was cancelled about an hour ago. The breeze has been up to about 40 knots in the gusts, 30 knots solidly, and then today, right at the moment, it's probably bound down to about 20 to 25, but it's certainly been fresh. And looking over Sydney Harbour, there's only about 1 or 2 yachts out and very few pleasure crafts. So that's the very disappointing news. It was going to be the last race of the Spring Championship. So that race now has been abandoned and the championship has been won and done. And we might just have a look at the point score. And we've got a very special guest to interview very shortly. There's the point score from the Spring Championship. Yandu, the veteran, John Woody winning. Very consistent performance. Had a fine win in the last race, 2 races last weekend. He won that, and a clear leader on the point score from the Oak Double Bay 4 Pines. They were second, a fair way back on 37 points from Yandu's 23. Smeg finished third, Shaw and Partners fourth, Birkenhead fifth, and down to Lazarus, and you can see the remaining boats there. But as I say, no racing today. We'll be back next week. But before we say goodbye, we'd like to introduce the Spring Championship point score winner. John Winning is here with us on the camera cat at the moment. Well, John, you must be pleased with your early season form.
Yeah, very, Pete. We've sort of hit the water running, I guess. Other guys have got new boats and that, and the boat was pretty well bedded in by the end of last season. We've had Josh Barevsky sailing with us so far this season. You had sail with Sean Langman the last 2 seasons, and sailed his own 18, nearly won the Gilton about 4 or 5 years ago, just before COVID. And for me, I'm not getting any younger and I'm not getting any more agile or anything else, so I'm not getting any better at it. So having another young guy in the boat hasn't hurt. I've been very lucky to have had Mike Kennedy, Berger, for the last 5-6 years. He's rock solid. But a little bit of youth probably isn't hurting us.
Well, you're certainly showing us some really good form. As I said, you won the last race last weekend in very good fashion, but what do you think about today? I mean, it has been very strong early on, hasn't it? And probably a decision had to be made at some stage, but right at the moment it's probably just a sailable breeze, isn't it?
Well, I think so, but it's very easy to make the call when you're not making the call, and it's a fair amount of responsibility on our race officer Doug Cameron's shoulders. A lot of younger guys in the park that probably don't have the experience in heavy weather, but that's the conundrum, because if you do keep calling it off, then they never get the experience. So personally, I'd love to have been out here today. I think we'd have had a great day. You get some of your best rides, but he's probably made the correct call, I think.
Yes, well, you can see as we look down the harbour towards Manly and North Head, there's very few yachts out, and a couple of yachts out there with very small jibs. But, John, let's talk briefly the health of the 18-footers. You're happy with the number of boats and the young guys coming through at the moment? As one of the veterans, of course, and you've been at it a long time, you're happy with what you're seeing for the future?
Yeah, I think so, Pete. That's the secret. It's not always how many rock stars you've got, it's how solid your fleet is. Quite often when it gets a little bit too hot at the top, it makes it hard for guys to come in to start with, and they sort of give up before they get going. So you have your periods, you think, we've sort of really arrived here. You're a few Olympians and arguably some of the best sailors in the world sailing. But that's often the crest of the wave, and it just depends which side of the wave you get off. But we got a lot of good young guys, and we help the boats. We try to keep the boats simple and try to give them all the help that we can. And so we've got 19 crews for this year, which is pretty good. That's the hardest things, to get people to sail the boats, and it goes for everywhere. Yesterday I went over there, I think I saw 2 Etchells in the water out of about 30 that are stored at Royal Sydney. some other regatta. There's not enough sailors to sail all the classes in the boats. I'm not exactly sure what the answer is, but I think our formula at the club is pretty good. We make the people commit to the class, and so we run, race every week with 19 starters. I think that's the secret, and there will be years when we don't have all the rock stars, but we've always got a solid fleet, and when something else falls over, they want to come back. I think we're the boat of choice for them to sail, but they generally get, they're paid to sail other boats, so you just got to put food on the table.
Well, you can see there a shot looking towards Bradley's Head in Taronga Park Zoo. You can see the white caps being whipped up by the Westerly on the harbour. And if you've just joined us, there's no racing today. It's been abandoned for the 18-foot skiffs. But, John, just as we wind up, what are we hearing from New Zealand? Our friends coming over for the JJs later in the season? Is that the word?
I believe that's their intention. And I think there's at least one container coming from Europe. Possibly two, but they'll sort of have to get their act in together. World shipping's all over the place, so it's not easy. But to the best of my knowledge, Heinrich Bayern's got a container. Some of the Euros can get in it with him, but I believe he's coming rain, hail or shine. So.
And the former Giltman champion from New Zealand, Honda, are they coming over? Have you heard?
I haven't heard personally,
right?
But I would imagine, I can't see why he wouldn't.
Yeah.
They've been out a couple of weekends over there and starting to get going again.
Yeah.
But once again, I think they're victims of their own success. They won the Giltman and unbelievably sailed well, but they lost the bottom end of their fleet.
Oh.
And unfortunately, once you lose the bottom end, then there's no one to go out and beat.
Yeah. Well, that's the scene as we wrap it up from Sydney Harbour. No racing today. Next week, we hope you can join us. First heat of the state championships, full course, and we hope we get slightly better conditions. As we said today, a very strong westerly across the harbour has been blowing all day since early this morning, and times gusting 40, 30 knots, perhaps settling down at 25. So plenty of wind. And on behalf of the Sail Media team, not much to report, but the race was off. We thank John Winning. We wish him every success for the remainder of the season. And as we say, good afternoon from the harbour, a very windy Sydney Harbour. We look forward to your company next Sunday for the first heat of the state championships. This is Peter Shipway saying a very good afternoon and look forward to your company then.